You think the biggest drama in royalty was war? Wrong. One of the most powerful kings of France was defeated by a sore on his butt. February 1686. Louis XIV, the famous Sun King, began to feel a strange pain after horseback riding, but that pain kept getting worse until it became fistula, an inflammation that caused fever, swelling, and unbearable discomfort. The royal doctors tried everything: ointments, compresses. Nothing worked. The king could barely sit. That's when a bold idea came up: to call a barber surgeon, a profession considered lowly at the time. His name was Felix. No anesthesia, no hospital, no modern tools. He crafted a special scalpel, used burgundy to clean the area, and performed the surgery right there. And the most incredible part? It worked. Louis XIV recovered, and the case became a milestone in medical history. If you think a dirty bathroom is the worst that can happen, wait until you find out how people cleaned themselves in the Middle Ages. No toilet paper, no soap, and not even a hint of comfort. Back then, hygiene was a mix of improvisation and desperation. To clean up after doing the job, many people used leaves, but picking the wrong one could lead to painful allergic reactions. And if there were no leaves, they used their bare hands. Yes, that was normal. Clothes? Washed only once or twice a year. And with what? A mixture of river water, urine, and caustic soda. The smell was so strong it felt like punishment. And the face? It was often washed with urine too, which at the time was considered medicinal. It was used in creams, remedies, even mouthwash. In ancient Rome, it was even worse. People shared the same communal sponge, dipped in a bucket to clean themselves, passed from one person to the next without washing. Medieval hygiene wasn't just poor, it was practically a survival experiment. At 6 years old, she was promised to a king, and that's not even the worst part. Isabel of France was forced to marry Richard II of England, a man who was 28, and that wasn't a scandal, it was tradition. In the Middle Ages, being a princess wasn't a privilege, it was a sentence. Girls were married off between the ages of 12 and 18, and their fate was sealed: to get pregnant. But childbirth back then looked more like a sacrificial ritual. No anesthesia, no hygiene, no doctors, just midwives, screams, and prayers. When the baby got stuck, the only option was a cesarean. But how to stitch her back up? They couldn't. The surgery was done only after the mother had to try to save the baby, or at least baptize it before it also died. Princesses died young, alone, and in silence. And the luxury of the castle meant nothing compared to the pain that came with the crown. In the Middle Ages, the greatest danger for a princess wasn't war, it was childbirth. Get ready to discover the deadly side of Victorian beauty. In the 19th century, being beautiful was a health hazard. Women took arsenic to lighten their skin, not realizing it could slowly harm their bodies. They wore corsets so tight that their organs shifted, and many fainted just to keep a tiny waist, and their hair, a tower of hairspray, animal fat, and lice. Some even slept sitting up just to avoid ruining their hairstyle. Even eyebrows weren't safe. They shaved them off and drew them back on with charcoal. In the Victorian era, beauty came at a price, sometimes too high a price.